Good morning and welcome to Travels with Sheila at home in self-isolation. Going through all the old pics and trying to find things to do at home, I thought you may be interested in 3 different, shall we call them vid pics, of trips that we took BC before Camcorder. And I think these are the top 3 on my list of extreme rigorous touring. Now, none of these 3 trips that you can certainly avoid for the rest of your life without any particular regrets, or hindsight is 2020, have nothing to do with the people who live there. It's just that they are so rigorous and in a way dangerous. And at least 2 of them are on the list right now that most governments say to avoid. They're either level 4 or a level 5 as far as terrorism and them not being safe. Trip number 3 is, I can't even say it without laughing, Siberia. The only people that ever go to Siberia were the people that were put in gulags, and here we paid really good money. It was another American group, and for all 3 of these trips, we had very reputable tour operators. We had, for the first, Geographic Expeditions, the second was Wilderness Travel, and the third was Mountain Travel Sobek. The Siberia trip will begin with a 2-day visit in Moscow. We then fly 1,750 miles east to Barnaul, the main city in the Altai. And from there, we drive to Mountain Lodge Vasnotnik, something like that, in Tyungur. It's a base camp. And then begin a circular horse-supported trek through the Altai Mountains. We are 14 touched-in-the-head Americans who probably think, oh, this sounds so adventurous. We're going to be the first group of Americans into this remote region of Siberia. We arrived in Barnaul at 6:30 a.m. and the Russian tour organizer has 2 minibuses with no food and water, and we have a 9 to 11 hour drive ahead of us. Accommodations are in 2-story wooden cottages housing 4 people each, no showers and communal toilets in a separate building. It actually turned out to be close to a 16-hour drive, and we finally found bottled water carbonated with gas only along the way. Leonid is our Russian English-speaking guide during this 90-mile trek. There's tons of rain at the beginning, which meant starting in the opposite direction of the circle trek, since the bridge was washed out. So we walked through unbelievably sloppy, muddy trails. After the long 5 to 6 hour trek through the mud, we finally get to where we're going to pitch our tents for the night, along with many other Russian families, and we discover that the tour operator has forgotten some of the tents, toilet paper, dishes, cups, and silverware. And there was no dining tent, not even a tarp in case it rains, nothing to sit on, and no toilet tent. We have a staff, hearty laughter here, of 4. Leonid, 2 horsemen, and 1 little 16-year-old girl who cooked for all of us and had to carry all the pots, pans, and cooking equipment on her back every day. By now our group was wondering if the prisoners in Soviet gulags had it better than us. By the way, I'm not laughing at this. Gulag is a general term which describes Soviet slave labor punishment camps where approximately 50 million died between 1930 and 1950. We have to put up our own tents, make and break camp, and Marine Steve is already giving me looks, muttering under his breath. Mount Beluga is the highest mountain in Siberia at 14,800 feet, and the massif has 4 peaks. and over 700 square miles of glaciers. It's a favorite for serious climbers and mountaineering groups. We also spent the entire trek standing up during all meals since there were no camp chairs to sit on. That leaves wet ground, mud with an occasional rock or log. It took a few days before most of the mud was left behind and the rest of us were covered. As a matter of fact, the mud completely destroyed Steve's boots. They separated and cracked away from the sole, and we used duct tape to keep them together until the trek was over. The last hike led through Kuchirla, the last populated area on the way in and out of the mountains, and then raft across the fast-flowing Akim River with a very strong current. The Altai mountain range isn't very high, but the entire area is vast and wild. Many days we hiked all day without water in open conditions and under a broiling sun. There was really nothing to enjoy about most of the trek except the fact that we all survived and it was over. The entire trip was one huge Saturday Night Live skit. On both Pakistan and Siberia, we dropped mega pounds. I have no souvenirs from Siberia. I was just so grateful to get out alive and without breaking anything. I hope you enjoy all these commentaries. All of these are hysterically funny. In hindsight is 2020 only. It was not funny when we were doing them. Thanks so much for your views and your comments. Love hearing from you. Love answering your questions. Best to you. So yes, we were actually lost in Siberia.